We've then got a relationship problem between us and the dog, where the dog is kind of confused and thinks it should be the one that's taking charge of situations, which is a very, very toxic, could turn into a very toxic behavior. In this case, it's lunging and barking on the leash. And this is me teaching her what our relationship means. I'm not necessarily in control or the alpha, I'm just the one making the decisions right now, because at the moment you're uncertain and you're not making the good decisions. So until I trust you to make good decisions, I'm going to be the one that makes those decisions in order to keep you safe and everybody else safe. So I'm going to go through a little exercise that I'm going to do with this dog in particular, which is generally something I do straight after the bonding process. And this is a spatial drill. And this is something that a lot of people, 99% of dog owners, get wrong. And this causes them probably 50 or 60% of their issues, okay? So this is so crucial for every dog owner. So what tends to happen is the dog kind of learns to be pushy in our space and doesn't learn to understand what our space represents. So we've got a dog that, in this case, thinks my space is something it should protect. And so we've got kind of like an underlying insecurity. So the dog is uncertain of new situations. We've then got a relationship problem between us and the dog, where the dog is kind of confused and thinks it should be the one that's taking charge of situations, which is a very, very toxic, could turn into a very toxic behavior. In this case, it's lunging and barking on the leash. So we've got a double whammy. We've got uncertainty and then a lack of clear communication with the animal. So what I'm doing is I'm ignoring the dog. So I'm not communicating with the dog when it does undesired behavior, and then I'm just applying a little bit of gentle spatial pressure or leash pressure when the dog starts to move away from me. Okay, so when I'm standing here, I'm ignoring, she's sniffing me, paying attention, but then if she tries to go that way or dictate where we're going, I just de-escalate her with the leash and refocus her, okay? So all I'm saying is you don't get to dictate where we're going. I want to stand still right now, you have to learn to stand still too. So that's boundary number one. From here, what I'm expecting her to do once I set that boundary, she's going to start trying to test me. She's going to start moving into my space, pushing into me. Okay, so at that point, I'm going to start to use my spatial pressure to push her out. Okay, so we've got two things going on. I'm using the leash to prevent her from going anywhere. Then she's going to start trying to take advantage of me. I'm then going to use my spatial boundaries to push her out of my space. And this is me teaching her what our relationship means. So our relationship essentially is, I'm the one dictating what happens. I'm not necessarily in control or the alpha. I'm just the one making the decisions right now, because at the moment you're uncertain and you're not making the good decisions. So until I trust you to make good decisions, I'm going to be the one that makes those decisions in order to keep you safe and everybody else safe. So gentle leash pressure. Remember, I only want to use the right amount of pressure, so the exact amount of pressure required to get the response. I don't want to use too much pressure, that's going to shut the dog down. Not enough pressure isn't going to get the desired result. You could see just before she moved her butt into me, she kept starting to swing her ass into me. At that point, I just push her out again. So that's her looking for comfort, looking for reassurance, but I don't want to give her that because she's uncertain right now. I don't want to reward that state of mind. I'm ignoring it and I'm giving her boundaries. I'm not feeding into it. Remember, affection is like pay, it's like a currency. If you pay the dog for unwanted state of minds or unwanted behaviors, you're going to see more of that in the future, therefore giving the dog unclear information. Cool, so what we've done is we've started our bonding process with the dog. So we've started with just a little bit of environmental socialization. So we've wandered around, letting her take in different bits of information in the environment with the aim to build confidence. Okay. Over that period, I also got a bit of a gauge with how she was responding to different noises, new objects, different things in the environment, which gave me a lot of feedback to where things could be going wrong with this dog. Initially, when we started, she started in that very defensive state, so she was very caged off, wasn't taking in as much information and hugging into me a lot. Okay, so she was hugging in and looking for reassurance, essentially, which can be a very toxic, unhealthy relationship between human and dog. Okay, so we've now kind of started to establish somewhat of a boundaries between us. We've started to build a bit of trust between the two of us, and we're now kind of at the point where I would start to work the dog a little bit with a little bit of reward-based training and a little bit of gentle leash pressure to really kind of start to set some boundaries.